it is time for my favorite video to make, and that is monthly TBRs. This one's for October. Really don't know how we're already here, but this month we're going back to our normal TBR jar. I'm gonna try and make this fit to as many spooky reads as I can, but we'll see how that goes. First up is a BookTok viral book. I feel like I have a lot of books that could fit this. On Wings of Blood is a high contender because vampires, of course it fits spooky season. I also have Immortal Dark by Tejas Gurma, which again, vampires. Let me think of what else I have. I also have Fairytale by Veronica Lancet. This is more of like a dark gothic fantasy romance, I guess. So these are the three contenders. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how quote unquote BookTok viral these were. I feel like I saw them quite a bit on BookTok though. Which one do I wanna pick though is the problem. I think I'm gonna go with On Wings of Blood by Briar Bolin because I've been wanting to get to this really bad and I just keep putting it off. But basically our main character is a half-fae and she ends up getting sent to this academy that is just filled with vampires. And she is one of the last dragon riders, but there's no known dragons left in existence. Then there's another character in here, Blake, and he is just like an arrogant vampire who won't leave her alone. And then from some ritual, they end up engaged. I need to get to this because I've been putting this off way too long. Next up, a new release. For that, I don't have too many like quote unquote new releases. I obviously have releases from like this year, but I want to do within the last couple months. So I'm going to end up going with Immortal Consequences by Ivy Murray. And honestly, I don't really know what this book is about. And I kind of want to keep it that way. So I'm just going to read like the very short portion on the back. And it's 6 rivals, 1 victor. Eternity is only the beginning. And this is also YA. Plus, I love the way this looks. Minus the stickers. Don't worry, those will come off. A book that matches your outfit. Well, my outfit is extremely plain and it's literally just a green shirt and jeans, but that works because I have 3 books that I feel like work with this. This one's probably the one that works the least, but I'm still going with it. Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Poranek. This one, Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. This one, I feel like might be the closest. The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. So these two are YA fantasy, more of like dark, grim fantasies. This one, I don't know what this is categorized as. I don't know if this is literary fiction, mystery, a little bit of both. When a teenager vanishes from her Adirondack summer camp, 2 worlds collide. Early morning, August 1975, a camp counselor discovers an empty bunk. Its occupant, Barbara Van Laar, has gone missing. Barbara isn't just any 13-year-old. She's the daughter of the family that owns the summer camp and employs most of the region's residents. And this isn't the first time a Van Laar child has disappeared. Barbara's older brother similarly vanished 14 years ago, never to be found. As a panicked search begins, a thrilling drama unfolds, chasing down the layered mysteries of the Van Laar family and the blue-collar community living and working in its shadow. Moore's multi-threaded story invites readers into a rich and gripping dynasty of secrets. Sounds good, but I don't know. I'm kind of more drawn towards Don't Let the Forest In. Basically, this one you're following Andrew and his, like, best friend that, by the sounds of it, he has a crush on Thomas. Thomas draws, and he starts showing up to school with like blood all over his clothes and like torn clothing, looking extremely tired. And Andrew ends up going and finding out that Thomas's pictures that he draws are actually coming to life and he's fighting them in the woods at night to try and keep them from killing his family. And so the two of them kind of like pair up together to try and figure out how to stop this. I think I'm gonna go with this one. I've been wanting to read this, but I feel like it's perfect for fall. A book that matches your nails. So the thing is I just I just took off all my nails last night. Well, this is no fun. Okay, hear me out. We're going to skip this one. That's my one skip I'm allowing myself because my nails are extremely boring. Okay. An author you've never read before. Ooh, I have the perfect one. I honestly don't really know how you say this title, but I'm going to go with Nos 4A2. And that's by Joe Hill. Victoria McQueen has an uncanny knack for finding things. When she rides her bicycle over the rickety bridge in the woods near her house, she always emerges in the places she needs to be. Vic doesn't tell anybody about her unusual ability. Charles Manx has a gift of his own. He likes to take children for rides in his 1938 Rolls-Royce Wraith with the vanity plate NOS 4A2. In the Wraith, he and his innocent guests can slip out of the everyday world to an astonishing playground of amusements he calls Christmas Land. Mile by mile, the journey across the highway of Charlie's twisted imagination transforms his precious passengers, leaving them as terrifying and unstoppable as their benefactor. And then comes the day when Vic goes looking for trouble and finds her way inevitably to Charlie. Now the only kid ever to escape Charlie's twisted imagination is all grown up and desperate to forget. But Charlie hasn't stopped thinking about Vic McQueen. On the road again, he won't slow down until he's taken his revenge. I'm just saying that is a perfect October month read. A book with a green cover. Okay, well, that kind of goes hand in hand with the... Okay, I have quite a few. This one's got a lot of like bluish green, but I'm going to go with it. And that's The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. This one's a mystery thriller. Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling, fantasy. This one is questionable because it's mainly blue, but there's still a handful of green. Where the Dark Stand Still by A.B. Poranek. The Deathless One by Emma Hamm. And The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. Now, I feel like this is perfect for fall, but I don't know if I really want to go with this because I already have... Honestly, I'm going with this one. It may be the one with the least amount of green on it, but there's still plenty of like green in her dress, leaves. So I'm gonna go with it, and I've been really wanting to read this lately. So I have 5 right now. A romantasy. What do I want to read in terms of a romantasy? Okay, I'm going to go with, I've had this on my TBR for so long, it's ridiculous at this point. And I'm trying not to start too many new series, because I'm in the middle of enough series. So, I'm going to go with Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This is a standalone. All sorcerers are evil. Elizabeth has known that as long as she has known anything. Raised as a foundling in one of Ostermere's great libraries, Elizabeth has grown up among the tools of sorcery, magical grimoires that whisper on the shelves and rattle beneath iron chains. If provoked, they transform into grotesque monsters of ink and leather. She hopes to become a warden charged with protecting the kingdom from their power. Then an act of sabotage releases the library's most dangerous grimoire. Elizabeth's desperate intervention implicates her in the crime, and she is torn from her home to face justice in the capital. With no one to turn to but her sworn enemy, the sorcerer Nathaniel Thorne, and his mysterious demonic servant, she finds herself entangled in a centuries-old conspiracy. Not only could the great libraries go up in flames, but the world along with them. As her alliance with Nathaniel grows stronger, Elizabeth starts to question everything she's been taught about sorcerers, about the libraries she so loves, even about herself. For Elizabeth has a power she has never guessed, and a future she could never have imagined. That sounds good. A book with a white cover. We have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, Malice by John Gwynne, or The Shadow in the Glass by J.J.A. Harwood. Typically, I would have gone for this one, but if we're being honest, I have selected this one so many times to be on my TBR, and I've never read it. So we're just going to put that back for now. I think what I'm going to go with is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, because I've been wanting to read this for like 2 years now, and this was one of the first books that I ever bought when I got back into reading. I'm hitting like 2 or 3 years of having this on my TBR shelf. So this one is a trilogy. When Rin aced the Kaju, the empire-wide test to find the most talented youth to study at the academies, it was a shock to everyone, to the test officials who couldn't believe a war orphan from Rooster Province could pass without cheating, to Rin's guardians who always thought they'd be able to marry Rin off to further their criminal enterprise, and to Rin herself, who realized she was now finally free of the servitude and despair that had made up her daily existence. That she got into Singard, the most elite military school in the Nikara Empire, was even more surprising. But surprises aren't always good. Being a dark-skinned peasant girl from the south is not an easy thing at Singard. Rin is targeted from the outset by rival classmates because of her color, poverty, and gender. Driven to desperation, she discovers she possesses a lethal, unearthly power, an aptitude from the nearly mythical art of shamanism. Exploring the depths of her gift with the help of a seemingly insane teacher and psychoactive substances, Rin learns that gods long thought dead are very much alive, and that mastering control over her powers could mean more than just surviving school. For even though the Nakara Empire is at peace, the Federation of Mugen still lurks across the narrow sea. The militarily advanced Federation occupied the Nakara Empire for decades after the First Poppy War, and only barely lost the continent in the Second. And while most of the people in the Empire would rather forget their painful history, a few are aware that a third Poppy War is just a spark away. A book with a place in the title. Alright, I have 3 different ones. We have Lightlark by Alex Astor, Jade City by Fonda Lee, and then Fairydale by Veronica Lancet. This one takes place in Fairydale. Lightlark is the island that appears in this one. You know what? I don't actually know if Jade City is actually a place in this. Yeah, I don't think it is. So I guess we'll take this one out. So we're between these two. I'm going to go with Fairydale. I want the more like dark, grim, gothic. This one, August 1955, when Miss Darcy O'Sullivan, an orphan English teacher from Boston, receives a letter that her biological father passed away, she is surprised to find herself included in his will. There is only one condition. She must travel to Fairydale to attend his funeral. With the promise of a sizable inheritance, Darcy decides to journey to the small coastal town that holds the secrets of her birth, but the moment she steps foot into Fairydale, things start to go amiss. Odd residents, odd rumors, odd deaths. Everything about Fairydale is odd, including brooding Caleb Hale, part of the infamous Hale family. During the day, she falls deeper and deeper under his spell as he forces her to step out of her comfort zone and embrace her inner sensuality. But at night, it's another man who haunts her dreams. I don't know how to say that. Eamon D'Arton, a nobleman who lived 2 centuries ago. Eamon is sweet and suave where Caleb is intense and dangerous, and Darcy feels more torn than ever. Soon she finds herself embroiled in a triangle of lies, deceit, and inexplicable events that make her question her sanity. When an ancient evil threatens the town and everything Darcy holds dear, she must make the ultimate choice, but will she survive it? There is one more I'm going to throw in here because I thought maybe I'd get a prompt that would fit this, but it's a book I really want to read this month, but it's short and sweet, so that's going to be Carmilla by Sheridan Leif. How do you say that? I don't know how to say that, so I'm going to leave it at that. But this is a sapphic romance, and this is actually what inspired Dracula. It says, predating Dracula by 26 years, Carmilla is the original vampire story steeped in sexual tension and gothic romance. In a lonely castle deep in the forest, Laura leads a solitary life with only her ailing father for company, until one moonlit night a carriage arrives bearing an unexpected guest, the beautiful Carmilla. So begins a feverish friendship between Laura and her mysterious companion, but as Carmilla becomes increasingly strange and volatile, Laura finds herself tormented by nightmares and growing weaker by the day. It's short enough that I'm going to throw this on here. So this is our lineup for October. Let's be honest, I probably won't even get through a quarter of these, but I'm going to attempt it. There's a lot of here to pick from, and there's a lot on here that I desperately want to read before it becomes winter. So I need to get started on that. As always, let me know down in the comments which of these books you guys have read and what you rated them, because again, it helps me kind of put them in their own TBR order of when I want to read them, because I am way too indecisive. I love making these videos, but I'm terrible at sticking to what I pick in them. There are 2 books coming out right about now, because I'm making this at the very end of September, that I may end up prioritizing over these. One of them is Alchemized, and the other one is Alchemy of Secrets. So we'll see. But that is all that I have for you guys in this video. Next week will be my September wrap up, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye!